If in sparring, you're just getting punched non-stop and you just can't get them off you or stop them from punching, then this video I'm going to go over the 3 most important ways to get hit less. They're the best ways that you can implement as soon as you've watched this video. So watch all the way to the end. Okay, the first thing is a pretty obvious one, but do something after every attack. So every time you punch, that is when you're most vulnerable. All right, when you're in your guard position, you're pretty safe. Okay, but as soon as you start throwing punches, instantly there's all these gaps that start opening up, and that's where people are going to counter you. That's probably where you're getting hit the most. You're trying to land the punch and they're just seeing what you're going to do because you haven't learned how to punch with good technique or set anything up really yet, and they're just seeing what you're going to do and they're just countering you every time. Okay, so the first thing is do something after. That doesn't mean you have to, like, you know, change the angle, do all this crazy shit and move your feet all around the ring and get stepped well out of range. All it means is you just have to make sure that every time you throw punches, you do a small little defense after. Okay, so that could just be after you throw a 1-2, you just roll and then just move around, walk around, okay? Or you throw a jab and you slip, you step. Okay, just one small little defense, which means that you're decreasing the risk of them being able to come back with something. That's super, super important, that you don't just, you know, be like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna start doing stuff. Every time you're on the bag, or every time you're doing repetitions of boxing, that means that you need to do something after. Okay, if you've thrown a combo on the bag, roll after, or change the angle after. Okay, do something after every attack. Number 2 is always be a moving target. Okay, now is my head moving whilst I'm doing this? Of course it's moving. It's moving around with my body, all right? But as soon as my feet are still, if I'm not throwing punches, then you want to be moving your head slightly. Okay, it doesn't have to be like a full-on, you know, it can literally just be a small little rocking motion or coming underneath like this, or just changing the position of where your head is. If you're constantly changing the position of where your head is, it's always hard to hit you. And not only that, you can punch off of that. If you come over here, you can punch off those small little head movements. All right, so if you're not moving your feet, you're not moving around the ring, as soon as your feet are still, you want to be moving the head slightly. Or if you're coming forwards, okay, again, still, if you're creeping forwards, you want to have that small little rocking motion where you're doing little slips side to side, or you're dipping under. You're just making yourself a moving target. That leads me on to point number 3, is if you're not moving your feet and you're not moving your head, then you need to be throwing punches. Now, this is probably the most important point. When you're throwing punches, they're thinking about defending, all right? It seems pretty obvious, but if you just don't stop throwing punches, they don't get a chance to try and counter you or come back with their own punches. So you have to continuously pressure and get good at throwing combinations one after the other. So instead of just throwing one combination or just 1 or 2 punches, you've got to step in after that and throw like 5 or 6 more. All right? And then you'll find not only are you landing way more, but you're getting hit way less because they're having to think about what you're doing. And if they're just moving off, that's where you've got to learn better ring craft. You've got to cut off the ring a little bit better, step to the side instead of just following them round and letting them out. Because if you're trying to throw a lot of punches and you're just letting them move out of the way, you're always going to have to reset. Okay, so you want to be able to cut off the ring and trap them in a specific position, and then you want to let all the punches go. Then after you've let all the punches go, you need a breather yourself, then make sure you step out of range and then go back to moving the head again. All right. Or you defend straight after, like I was saying, and then come back with another combo. All right, so there's a little recap. Do something after every single combo, whether that's on the bag, on the pads, in training or in sparring. Get used to doing something after, always. Every single repetition, try and get used to just rolling underneath. Okay, just doing something that means that you're decreasing the chance of being hit after when you're most vulnerable. Second point was make sure you're always a moving target, whether you're moving on your feet or you're moving your head slightly, or when you're coming forwards, you've got that slight rocking motion, making yourself harder to hit. And then the last one, the most important one, they can't really hit you if you're just unloading a bunch of punches on them. So punch more, have a higher output, and that higher output comes from being more relaxed and sticking to your tempo, not trying to rush and using all this tension in your body, just going to fatigue you and mean that you're going to burn out. But sticking to your tempo, all right? Don't punch so fast. Try and punch slow. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. All right? And smooth and slow means that you can just keep going. All right? You can practice that in shadow boxing, just keep building the combos on top of each other. And if you can do all of those 3 points, I guarantee you'll get hit much, much less. I made this other video about what you should do when you're not doing any of those 3 things. It's called the 8 layers of default mode, but I think the YouTube video is actually called Give Me 9 minutes and I'll give you my sparring secrets or something like that. It should be linked on the screen now. So that is actually a perfect link to this video. So go give that one a watch and I'll see you there.